Welcome everybody to YouTube and the Great Southern Slam 2018. It is day 3 of the Great Southern Slam and we are all set for a final here. It is going to be the Van Diemen Rollers taking on Wollongong Illawarra. Let's try that again. Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby. My name is Pants.
And I'm Link. Yes, to be fair, that's a lot of double O's, double L's, double R's, a lot of letters there.
And I haven't had enough coffee, I tell you. All right, we're about to get underway with the start. We had a delay due to some paperwork issues, so thanks for your patience everywhere where you're watching it. We do see the love coming through on the YouTube feed, so certainly there's a lot of love going on. Thanks for tuning in. First blood goes to Morgana Le Fay. So she is on as the jammer for VDR. And we also have Axe and Hips for WIRD. So let's get it on. We do have Axe and Hips still stuck at the back on her initial pass. Scoring pass at the moment for Morgana Le Fay and the Van Diemen Rollers, but being pinged at the front and forced to try again.
Yeah, looks like both packs have got straight into their defensive work, keeping these jammers out of the track, cycling them back in.
Both jammers currently being recycled. So back up past turn 2. Viciousness doing the job. And a cut track penalty. So well done, Viciousness. Just got to shake off those warning cobwebs by the look. So Morgana Le Fay has lost lead jammer and is off to the penalty bin.
Meanwhile, looks like we had some jammer panty action going on with Wollongong Illawarra. Wollongong Illawarra. It's a tricky one.
They're weird.
Weird. I like it. As we see number 11, Brenda Hellenbach, who is now in position of the jammer panty, but now struggling in her own right with the Van Diemen blockers.
So Brenda Hellenbach is also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to Brenda Hellenbach.
Certainly not getting your birthday love from the blockers here.
No, it's we had a little birthday celebration, happy birthday being sung by and joined in by both teams this morning. So that's nice to see that interleague love before even the first whistle is gone. She's now on a scoring pass, and comes to an end. So at the end of all that, our action-packed first jam, 5 points for Van Diemen Rollers. Steel City yet to trouble the score bench, but it's early days yet.
Speaking of early, it's nice to see that our friends down in Tasmania are supporting VDR nice and early. We see you there on the chat. We will certainly be passing on that support for your team.
All right, next jam about to get underway. Whistle blows. And quickly around the outside, that's Kitty Killer.
And WIRD are on the board with their first lead jam position of the day.
Recamrini trying to get through, but there's some excellent dual action blocking going on here. That would be Nat Out of Hell. And also looks like Z Beast has got the best of Kitty Killer. So another recycle going on.
Shout out to Ben in the chat there. It's pronounced weird as in weirdo, not as in word.
I know, I keep getting it wrong.
There we go. Thank you, Ben.
No worries. So I guess that makes the fans of Weird Weirdos.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Thanks to all the weirdos who are tuning in. All right, end of the jam. 4 points for WIRD, so they are on the track. Yep, so they are 5 and 5 right at the moment.
One blocker advantage here for Van Diemen starting off the jam.
Oh, righty. So very quickly, Locomotive out of the pack and motoring around. And also Ziggy Starbuster. She is free, so about half a lap pack advantage to Locomotive. She gets the points. Is not calling though. She wants more.
She comes around, checks the bench. No commands given. She will keep skating.
Ziggy Starbuster also through for his first scoring pass. Nice step through on the inside from Locomotive. Gets the jump on Executioner. That's no mean feat. Executioner is a fantastic blocker to get, and it's hard work to get past her. So well done. Points and call. So the edge with the VDR on that one, 13 plays 9.
And it looks like we have Danger Mouse at 333 lining up for Van Diemen.
Oh, yes, here we go. But it's Axe and Hips who's got the jump, picks up lead jammer, but Danger Mouse is off and racing. And Axe and Hips not going to bother chasing her down. So that's the end of that one. So if you are joining us on YouTube all day today, this is the last bout that's going to be played on track 4. The track 4 and 5 are going to get ripped up at the end of this one and turned into the after party venue for the hoedown that's going to happen later tonight.
Excellent. Everyone loves a good hoedown. We're going to have a grand old Great Southern Slam hoedown later on tonight.
Yep, the after parties are the things of legend, so this one should be no different. There'll still be plenty of action coming away from track 2 and 1. Track 1 all day.
Meanwhile, we have Kitty Killer getting the lead jam position for Weird.
Nice work there from Kitty Killer. Roller doobie on for VDR. And still getting through the pack for her initial. Just caught at the last second. That was viciousness.
Yeah, blocked her all the way to the outside of the track, and she is cycled back to the back of the pack to start again.
5 foot lending a hand to help clear some house. But viciousness out the front. And she's combining with Scarlet Letter. Excellent blocking here. Crumpet getting involved as well.
Roller Doobie finally makes her way through the pack for her initial pass. She finds a line on the outside after some helpful offensive blocking from her team.
10 points so far for Weird. Oh, nice clip. That was a great bit of last minute hip movement there. That was Slamby getting in there. So Slamby starting to make her presence felt. She's been a fantastic blocker for VDR all through the weekend. You name some big hit in any game so far, definitely Slamby's been part of the action. Whistle blows and they're off for the next jam. Stuck at the back of the pack though. It's
yeah, it's a standstill. It's a definite fight to get through for each jammer.
Blockers just trying to pave a way through, but it's Ziggy Starbuster who's made her way through. Reckamrini has picked up that apex line. Just getting chased down by Viciousness, but out of play, so got to let it go.
Now we'll see what Ziggy Starbuster does. Will she? Yes, she'll make her way in as much progression as she can. Called off, but not before Weird can pick up 1 point.
So
sorry, VDR pick up 1 point.
Yep, so Reckamrini able to get sneak through for a sneaky point. Love it when they sneak it through. So 22 at the moment for Weird, playing 14 for VDR. A couple of nice jams for Weird has seen them open up a slight lead. Looks like Kitty Killer's back on for Weird. And Locomotive for VDR.
Unfortunately, looks like Locomotive has picked up a cut on the outside.
My correction, it's Axe and Hips who's on for Weird.
She is now in a power jam position. See if she can make the most of it.
Just got a couple more blockers to get through. Just leaning in.
And has picked up lead jammer.
Yes.
Despite the tumble, has been deemed to have made it through the pack legally.
Yep.
And away she goes in lead jammer position.
Yep, off she is. Pack just picking up a bit of pace here. Now coming to a standstill around turn 2. Locomotive is back on track and working her way through a big pile of purple people. And nice work. Step through on the inside. Has completed her initial pass. Slamby takes care of axe and hips, and that is the end of that one. 2 more points for Weird. Interesting to see that Cranky Crumpet so far hasn't had a jam as lead jammer. She's been doing some blocking so far, but she was doing a lot of jamming in one of the previous bouts for Weird, so maybe they're saving her for the second half.
Yeah. I mean, given it is the last jam, or the last, bout for these two teams, might just be giving everyone a go, maybe even.
Danger Mouse trying to get through around the outside, but Viciousness is in the way. Kitty Killer has got through on the jump and been administered with a penalty. So that's a bit of a shame. So it's a power jam now for VDR. Chance to get back into it.
Yeah, Danger Mouse just about fell all the way back onto her bum, but was caught and put back onto her wheels by her teammates, and off she went, picking up lead jammer.
There's a nice group of VDR fans right next to us here, so you'll hear them hopefully coming through the feed, lending a cheer whenever one of their players does something particularly noteworthy. Oh boy, nice fall there, but
yeah, nice slow approach. Then picked her spot. Danger Mouse through for a full 5 points.
Jammer back on track for Weird. Danger Mouse, just clipping the edge of the track, so she's got to go back and try again. Viciousness seems to be the blocker that's everywhere for Weird so far.
Yeah, putting in the butts where it counts. And definitely doing a great job of cycling back the jammers to the back of the pack.
Danger Mouse gets her hips through and calls it off. Makes sure she gets the 5 points, and she has. So a 10-point jam sees the scores draw level. We're 24 and 24.
It's the second time this bout already we've had a tied game. Oh, if you don't count the start, I guess.
No, well, let's count the start. Why not?
Well, sorry, it's the third time then.
They're neck and neck. The clock hasn't even started yet. Going for the jammer trap at the jammer line. Ziggy Starbuster on. Almost poked her way through, but instead it's going to be Reckamrini. She's out the front. Still got a couple of blockers to get past.
Ziggy Starbuster, meanwhile, at the back of the pack, has cycled all the way back after some good blocking there from Slamby.
Viciousness heading to the penalty bin. The no pack was called and they didn't stop. So it's looks like a pack penalty of some description. Scoring pass for Reckamrini.
Yeah, she scored a natural grand slam, lapping the other jammer on that scoring pass. They picked up a full 5 points.
Ziggy Starbuster hugging the inside line is through for her initial. And Reckamrini just plows up the centre. Says, I'll take 5 more, thank you, and I'll call it. So 10 points, sees them through to 34. 10-point lead. And a quick changeover. Let's get it on again. Teams getting into the groove.
4-on-2 pack advantage here for Van Diemen. We'll see if they can make that count and help their jammer out.
Consolation semi-final, nothing to play for except pride and love. And we do it for the love of the game. So it's great to see all these players just coming out, putting it down on the floor and having some fun. Locomotive through as lead jammer.
Yeah, a rush from the penalty box has evened up the playing field.
Almost a star pass there from Binder Hellenbach. And she's now around the outside, completing the initial pass. Locomotive completes a grand slam and calls it off. I want to give a big shout out to all the officials here as well. They're, of course, doing day 3 of the Great Southern Slam as well, and they've been doing multiple games every single day. I had a chat with some of the ones from my league this morning, and they're all exhausted, but they're all psyched to be here.
Yeah, I've been on the refereeing side of a Great Southern Slam, and The third day of not getting to air out your gear between is quite an experience.
That referee must be potent.
Oh, like
no
an
one
oven.
leave any cheese in there.
Meanwhile, we have number 4, Kitty Killer. She's out into lead for Weird and lead jam position, but hot on her heels.
Roller doobie.
Yeah, roller doobie.
I was having a chat with the VDR team bench this morning. They're saying that Roller Doobie, this is her first TGSS. She's a fairly fresh skater, and she's loved the opportunity to come and skate. And certainly, as a young skater, you want to, it's not all about building up to a TGSS after years and years. You want to get to a big tournament as soon as you can. You cut your teeth in an environment such as this, and it's great for your derby, but you get to see a lot of other great players play too.
Exactly, and getting to play with and against players from all over Australasia. The largest roller derby tournament in the world. Just the sheer amount of games and players here is quite absurd.
It is mad, but it's so much fun. Ziggy Starbuster being forced to the outside. Meanwhile, Danger Mouse is through. Tries the apex, but that person, again, Viciousness, says nope. So she's working her way through the pack. Now completes the scoring pass.
Yeah, full 5 points there for the natural Grand Slam.
Ziggy Starbuster being recycled again, sort of eyes to the sky going, oh, can I just please get through the pack?
The big sigh of relief, a little sigh of despair even. And, lovely, lovely assist there.
Nice pickup by Viciousness, realizing Ziggy Starbuster was on the edge, not in balance, picked up the hand and gave her a whip on the way through.
Yep.
That's teamwork.
No woman left behind.
All right, we are just over halfway through the first half score check. It's 48 points to VDR. Steel City on 27, but we've still got a lot of derby left to play.
And the chat looks like they're informing us it's also Danger Mouse's first tournament, so
sweet as.
She will be having a blast.
Yeah, she's been fantastic all tournament. Really just being a star jammer for VDR. It's been great to watch her. Recamrini through as lead jammer for VDR.
And we've lost a jammer Penny on the track.
No. It's in the hands of Binder Hellenbach.
Oh.
So it may be a pivot.
Looks,
yeah,
it must be.
It must be a pivot helmet cover that's down on the ground. So that means there's no one to hand that jammer helmet cover off to.
That's
because
true.
Who would be the pivot at this stage?
At the stage of the floor.
Yep, so you can just throw it on the floor as well, I guess.
Won't score many points, but...
No, the floor moves pretty slowly. It's solid as a rock, though.
Great blocker.
End of the jam. 9 points to VDR, puts them up to 57. It's now a 30-point lead, but that's just basically one power jam.
Yeah. Certainly anyone's game at this early stage.
Interesting also that Jungle Muffin hasn't had any jams either. She's now just controlling the apex of that triangle in front of us. But she's been doing a fair bit of jamming for VDR as well. So it looks like VDR just focusing on a small jammer rotation. Locomotive up against Kitty Killer at the moment, but Kitty Killer has the jump.
Yeah, she found just the slightly easier way through the pack. Managed to get about a meter or so ahead. And it's a bit of a race to see what points can be scored.
Oh,
nice little apex jump.
Yeah.
And she scores 4. Keeps Van Diemen off the board. Nice work.
Yeah, that was a sweet little Churnham and Burnham jam. Perfectly executed. Coming back on, we've got more derby coming your way. It looks like Roller Doobie's on. And not sure who the jammer is. It's not Axe and Hips. It's not Ziggy Starbuster, but we'll find out. Oh no, it is Axe and Hips. And there she goes. Nice pirouette, but
no, not
the inside
quite.
track.
Yeah.
So she is off.
It leaves Roller Derby to pick up a lead jam position and in a power jam. She'll be looking to make the most of the time while she's in the bench, and nicely done on the outside. Picks up full 5 points.
Yeah, hears it from the crowd too as she picked up that Grand Slam. Nice stuff. VDR keeping the pack separated for Weird, so able to isolate Nat Regis at the back of the pack. So that's also been good for Roller Derby, just with a less organised defence to try and attack.
Yeah, it really helps that they can really draw out the pack and possibly get the Weird blockers out of play. Sorry, to pick up the points a lot easier. Called off there before the jammer could return to the pack, so they will start in a power jam position this time as well.
That's right. So Weird calling for the timeout. So with the chance to talk it over, just want to do a big shout out to the Wayville Showgrounds, this wonderful venue, hosting the Great Southern Slam again this time round.
Yeah, fifth time, I believe, for the Great Southern Slam. Yep. Really, one of the best and few places in all of Australasia that could probably hold a tournament this large and do it so well consistently.
Absolutely. And also do a big shout out to Adelaide Roller Derby as well, the hosts of the Great Southern Slam again. It takes a year to put a Southern Slam together, and everyone's a volunteer. So amidst the responsibilities and duties of running your own league and your own season, they've spent the last year also putting this tournament together. So a big shout out and thanks to all the volunteers of Adelaide Roller Derby. They've been running around, setting up the venue, making sure everything's going well, that the officials, the players, the commentators all have everything that they need. It's been a big effort all weekend, so we can't thank them enough.
No, and then they have to go, like half of them go and skate in between all that.
Exactly. They've had 2 teams in the tournament this year as well for the first time, so huge effort. Thank you, ADRD. Back on track is Danger Mouse to make the most of the power start, but Weird doing some great blocking up the front here. That's all sorts of people there.
Yeah.
The whole team. Nat out of Hell's in there. The Executioner.
Danger Mouse did pick up lead jammer, although she was cycled back to the back of the pack. So she's finally where and does call it off before Axe and Hips can make her way around to score some points unbeknownst.
Yep, so it looks like that initial had been completed. So good bench coaching there to ask Danger Mouse to call it off before any points could be scored. Looks like Reckonrini's back on. And up against Ziggy Starbuster.
We've got 2 of the Van Diemen girls coming out of the blocks, but a little bit too late. It leaves Ziggy Starbuster with an easy path through to lead jammer.
Yeah, Grace Anatomy trying to trace her down, but too fast and too strong. She's off and racing. Nice work from 5 foot on the outside line, just stopping Ziggy Starbuster's momentum. But that scoring pass has now been completed.
Reckonrini has completed her initial pass, and it is called off before she can get towards the pack to possibly score any points. We'll end that one. 4 points for Weird, 35-67.
Looks like Kitty Killer's back on, up against Locomotive. VDR going for that trap just before the whistle blows. Kitty Killer, a little airborne on the outside. That was Jungle Muffin doing the damage on that one.
Yep, just stood her ground on the outside line and sent her flying to the outside of the track.
Slamby on the inside, taking care of Kitty Killer on that pass. Locomotive also finding life difficult, trying to get through. Cat of Nine Tails getting amongst it. And there's Viciousness. Also got Binder Helen back, also forming part of that weird wall. No pack is called. She's got to be let go, and off we go. Kitty Killer on the scoring pass. Calls it off. And 1 point.
Yeah, trying to sneak around that inside and call it off, but took a little bit of a bump. Unfortunately, only able to pick up the 1 point, but does call it off before Van Diemen can score it themselves.
I love it when the jammer signals to the jam ref. No, it's 2 points, really. It's 2. Jam ref's just going.
They're my hips. I know who they passed.
I know. I got an eye on it. It's all right. You got past 1. That's it. 1 point for you. But it's a 1 point catch up on the score gap. Oh, here we go. Roller doobie. Shoulders cranking through the pack. She is your lead jammer.
Meanwhile, it looks like Net Out of Hell, who has come through for Weird and doing what she can to gain ground.
Yeah, it looks like that was her first jam for today, so Nat Out of Hell not on the jam rotation so far, I believe. So Weird now changing it up a bit, trying to do something.
Yeah.
Trying to throw out the defense or try to do something to inspire a bit more points action.
Nothing else. She's done well to restrict the points for the F just to the 1 for Van Diemen.
Ziggy Starbuster back on. And looks like Danger Mouse is on.
Yep, after a little bit of a run-up, she meets some stern defense at the back of the pack there. But she's back up, moving, and is through to lead jammer after a no-pack called.
Z-Beast called for a forearms penalty.
And Danger Mouse with about half a lap ahead.
Slamby returns to the track as well.
The pack speeds up. Danger Mouse takes a shot, takes a hit to the outside, but does pick up 3 points before calling it off rather dramatically in midair.
That was very nice. Remembering, of course, to use her wrists and elbows to stop her. I've seen the ones where people call it off midair and then they forget that there's a fast approaching ground. It's like a chest or face plant. Hands on hips. Great. Well done. You now have no face. Kidda Killer on for Weird. Lending a little bit of defense as she makes her way forward. Raccarini just trying to get past Viciousness, and it's taken some effort to do it.
Well, Kelly Killer found a nice little step to the inside to grab a lead jammer position. She's now through on her scoring pass, and a nice little feint and step over. Lands back inbounds, picks up 4 points, and calls it off successfully.
Yeah, that's tremendous athleticism, able to get that power going for that little apex jump on the last vestige of that curve. Nicely played. Locomotive on for VDR. And not sure who's on for Weird. Let's have a look.
Looks like Locomotive.
Yep.
Van Diemen and...
Oh, boy. It's Nat Out of Hell
Net
again.
Hell, yeah.
Nat Out of Hell just getting called on the inside by Slamby. Got to try again.
As Locomotive swings through for her scoring pass. And unfortunately, Nat Out of Hell has picked up a cut penalty, so some great defensive work there by Slamby.
Yeah, Nat Out of Hell just coming back on track. Didn't yield quite far enough. Slamby doing the jammer catch and succeeding.
Slamby now quickly transitioning to a bit of offense to help her jammer through.
Yeah, finding it hard, Locomotive. It still gets the 4 points, but more importantly, handing her next jammer, which is going to be Danger Mouse, a power start. Keep showing us the love on YouTube, guys. We do like it. And, of course, these comments are recorded for posterity, so when your favourite skaters check the feed later, they'll be able to see all the love.
They'll see your little names and your little comments pop up, and they'll thank you. They'll thank you for them, I'm sure.
Danger Mouse working through on the inside, picks up lead jammer position. All 4 Weirdo's trying to stop her, but unable to do so. So great bit of work here from Danger Mouse.
Meanwhile, Ned Out of Hell is back off the bench, but straight into the defensive work from Van Diemen.
Danger Mouse completes the first scoring pass, 4 points, being signalled by the Jam referee. And initial pass now completed by Nat Out of Hell. Danger Mouse completes the second scoring pass for another 4 and calls it off. So Van Diemen's just getting that nice cycle going, that momentum, just points and call, points and call.
Yeah, it's definitely adding up now. So on 89 to 40, as we very rapidly approach half-time, it's a comfortable lead to work with coming into the second half.
I dare say our half-time break will be quite short as we try and make up the time lost for the late start this morning. So half-time, it's probably just enough time for you guys to grab a quick cuppa and maybe a quick loo break, and we'll be back for second half action. Roller doobie on, and he picks up Lee Jammer.
Her persistence of working at that pack has paid off with the no pack call. She slips through into lead Jammer.
Ziggy Starbuster also through.
We'll see what she can do with the time given to her. It'll be close, it'll be tight. And as the screams come through to call it.
Was it in time? The answer is yes and no. Yes, the opposition did get any points. No, you did get any points. But that's I guess where it all counts.
A 0-0 at this stage does suit Van Diem more than Weird, so they'll have to take that one.
Kitty Killer on very quickly. She wants to get it on. And looks like Recamrini's on for VDR.
And that will be halftime.
Hey! All right, so go have a quick break. We'll have a quick break here as well. Scores currently 89 to 40 in favour of VDR over Weird. So we'll be back in just a few minutes' time. Welcome back to the second half of this semi-final consolation thingy. We've got a great game on our hands, though, haven't we, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, it may not be for all the marbles per se, but these teams are definitely going to give it their all. It's their last chance to skate it out, have a good time here at the Great Southern Slam.
Yeah, then they can open a beer and just relax.
Oh, they just get to watch all the grand finals and just cheer on.
Oh, the poor things.
Get the after party started early. I know it's a tough life.
Van Diemen Rollers taking on Wollongong Illawarra Roller Derby. Halftime score, if you're just joining us, 89 to VDR, and Weird are on 40. Not much in it. Second half is a 30-minute bit of fun, and anything can happen.
Absolutely. And you can hear the Van Diemen support crew in the house. They're giving it their all.
Danger Mouse starting for VDR. And it's a wall of green blocking our view of the Weird Jammer. Looks like it's Nat out of hell. Yep. So being forced to the outside. Both jammers forced to the outside. Yeah,
tough jam straight up for our jammers to start the half.
Oh, wow.
They barely made it past the pivot line.
Morgana LaFay meeting viciousness there on the recycle try as well. So some good blocking going on. Intra-blocking? I don't know. I'm not going to bother with grammar.
Too early for that, but not too early.
Nat out of hell.
Nat out of hell. She has picked up lead jam after quite a bit of a fight around the majority of the track.
And it looks like the weird blocks have really come out to play here. Danger Mouse was able to get jamming through quite easily in the first half, but finding it pretty rough so far. Getting a hand from Slamby.
Yeah,
viciousness closed the door.
It's over a full lap now that she's still yet to make her initial pass.
Nat out of hell, meantime, goes around, picks up 5 points, and gets the encouragement from the bench. He keep going, keep getting them points. Danger Mouse thought she was through, but clipped the inside line. She's going to go all the way back to try again. Executioner heads to the penalty bin, clutching her mouth. Hopefully that wasn't too big a hit.
And Danger Mouse finally makes her way through for her initial pass.
Grace Anatomy heading to the bin, I think, for a forearms call. Pace just picking up a bit as Danger Mouse comes through. And no sneaky points. No. So great start for Weird. They got a 10-point jam, 50 points now, just 39 points behind.
Yeah, starting off the second half by chipping away that lead. See if they can keep up that momentum and draw level.
Then we'll have a real game on our hands. I
Absolutely.
love it when this happens. Kitty Killer up against Locomotive. We're about to get our second jam of the second half underway. Whistle blows, here we go.
3-on-3 on the blocking side of things.
Crumpet coming through, but unable to stop Locomotive, who just powers on through. Almost around the outside. Slamby stepped out of play, though, so it's a no pass, no penalty. Doesn't really matter because she's not the lead jammer anyway.
Yeah, she's quite happy to take that and just power through to chase down the opposition jammer.
And no sneaky points. That was a close call. But Locomotive heads to the penalty bin after scoring 4 of her own. Not the penalty bin, to her team bench. I'll work it out one of these years.
So Van Diemen getting their first points of the half, extending up to 93 points.
Recamarini on for VDR against Ziggy Starbuster. Ziggy Starbuster, speed skates are on. She is off and racing through for lead jammer.
Yeah, she saw that inside line, took it, and just plowed on through.
And it opens up like a yellow brick road. It's fantastic. You seize that opportunity as soon as it comes along.
And a fancy footwork there, avoids one block, stands her ground on the next, goes through on her first scoring pass, and that will be a full grand slam at 5 points.
Yeah, Slamby was chasing her down, but she was too fast and too strong. Pack now stuck on turn 4. Just edging their way over the jam line. Ziggy Starbuster got one more blocker to beat. Grace Anatomy comes through for the hit and able to be shrugged off.
Yeah.
Ziggy Starbuster through.
Grey's Anatomy first, initially a good block on the outside, forcing her to the inside, but couldn't follow up with another block.
Recamrini finding it hard. It's Executioner who's coming in and doing a lot of damage here in the blocking for Weird. Great blocking. Number 9 as well. That is Cutter Nine Tails. Excellent blocking here. Getting the encouragement from the benchy on the way through. We're doing this. Get more points.
Meanwhile, we have a star pass successfully completed.
Yep, so it's Morgana Le Fay, who's now the jammer for VDR. Jam is blown to a conclusion. And at the end of all that, it's a 15-point jam for Steel City. So they're now on 65, closing in on 93 for VDR. Binda Hellenbach, I think, is the jammer for Weird. And we've got Roller Doobie for VDR.
And bit of a technical penalty there. It looks like Roller Doobie had forgot to put her mouth guard in as the jam started.
Oh, no.
The referee had spotted it and sent her to the bench and said, you better put that thing in. It's for your own safety. Sit down and think about what you've done. And that has afforded Weird a power jam.
Another VDR blocker also in the bin at the moment. So, yeah, it happens sometimes. You get in the moment of the game and it's just like a simple thing like a mouth guard.
Yep. You take it out for one jam as well, you're on the bench. Just stick it down your elbow pad and then next thing you're up and you forget to put it back in. Nat
Out of Hell also being sent to the penalty bin. So we've had a jammer changeover. Roller to be back on track. Mouth guard in place and she is off.
I think the mouth guard helped. Must lower wind resistance as well.
Absolutely, and definitely helped with the aggression factor as well, getting pinged for something so technical. There she goes around the outside. That is fantastic jamming. Quick 5-point pass.
She'll never skate without a mouth guard again.
Ever. She won't sleep without the mouth guard. Won't eat without the mouth guard. No, we kid. It is just a small technical thing. But it's certainly inspirational for her. Another 4-point pass. Superb block, and that is Muffin. But a little too aggressive, so got called for the forearms penalty. Jungle Muffin sitting down.
Meanwhile, Roller Doobie this time meeting a lot more resistance at the back of the pack.
Beautiful working well with Morgana Le Fay here. And it is the end of the jam. Another sneaky point. Timeout called by VDR. So that sends Van Diemen Rollers over the century mark, 102. Steel City on 65. Do a quick shout out to Rydell Skates. Rydell Skates being part of the roller derby scene for 70 years and counting, still going strong, getting better all the time. Rydell Skates, of course, have a massive stand at our market, but their online store is also amazing as well. Check it out. How's the YouTube live going, Link?
And we have some support there for Doobie. I think probably for the great recovery after the early penalty in that last jam. She really came on like the clappers once she knew their mouth guard was in.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Okay, that's the end of the timeout. We're about to get it on for the start of another jam. Binda Hellenbach on for Steel City. And it's Locomotive for VDR to get things underway. Bit of a pack advantage to VDR at the start. Execution doing the pivot occupy of the pivot line, but she's not the pivot, so looks like VDR were just willing to cede things to her. Locomotive just motoring on through.
Literally locomoting her way through there.
And pushed axe and hips just backed until she was out of place. So well done, Locomotive.
Yeah,
getting the power down.
Pure power and just the shunt until it was no longer legal for her to be blocking.
5-point pass for Locomotive. Weird, we're really hoping to kill this momentum, but looks like VDR have found their mojo.
Yeah, nice little hit there from Slamby as well. Knocking down
That was Binda Hallenbach.
Binda Hallenbach, yep.
Yeah, the birthday girl getting a lot of presents in the form of hits.
Yeah, the birthday bump's not quite what she was expecting.
Nice little hip whip there from Locomotive using 5 foot to get around the pack, pick up a little bit of power, and another 5-point pass. Star pass. That's been handed off to Kitty Killer. So Locomotive getting the motion, get the points and calls. She does exactly that. So well run jam for Locomotive. She's got a bit of a smile on her face. High fives from her teammates as she sits down. 19-point jam. Sweet as.
Yeah, that's definitely high five worthy.
Recamarini on with Ziggy Starbuster. Getting set. Again, Weird occupying that forward position. Ziggy Starbuster gets a little bit of jammer love from Recamarini. Hits the ground, straight back up. Viciousness, working with Cranky Crumpet. Out the front here, just rotating that 2-wall around.
Yeah, just each blocker assigned their role inside, outside. Now it is a one-on-one struggle.
Cranky Crumpet's getting sent to the penalty bin. I think perhaps for forearms or a multiplayer.
Looks like it, but Recamarini, after an uphill battle, does power her way through into lead jam position.
She's going to towel herself off quickly and get on with it. Get some points. Ziggy Starbuster pirouetting through, just not quite holding on to it. And a heavy fall to the side. And yeah, we're just going to quickly get the St. John's on. That was a heavy fall to the side. I reckon she just might have just met the concrete especially hard.
Yeah, it didn't look like a terribly natural fall, but thankfully we have our excellent St. John staff on hand who are on the scene now, and she is in the best help possible.
Yeah, they've been here all weekend lending a hand when we've needed them. So very thankful for the support of St. John's. She's sitting up now.
She is moving, which is a great sign, and
oh, she's a tough
she's
cookie.
Yeah.
Just make the St. John's will just check her over and make sure that she's okay. But Ziggy Starbuster, I reckon, will be back as soon as she can.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks all right.
As a safety precaution, as the jam was called off for the fall, she will sit out the next 3 jams at least. But by the looks of it, looks like she will be raring to go as soon as she can.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. God, these girls are so tough. I mean, it's just, you see the regular falls that people do, and then the heavier ones like that. And yeah, within a minute, she's just sitting up. She's just sucking down a couple of deep breaths. She's talking to the St. John's right now. But yeah, it's just like, no, I'll get up. Don't need a hand.
Put me back in, coach. Well,
exactly.
Sadly, we have to wait a few, but she'll be back.
Yeah. jazz hands from the VDR team on the sideline, just making sure all the blood's still going, all the muscles are still loose. Looks like a nice bit of help from Na, just giving the jam timer a bit of a hand. Yeah, we know it's an official timeout, but you know, everyone's chipping in. Score check at the moment, 125 for VDR. Ahead of Steel City Derby Dolls on 65. With just under 20 minutes left to go in this game. Yep, go on, Lee.
I was just going to say, it looks like the referees are just having a bit of a chat with both teams just to make sure everything's all in order, taking the extra time while they have it, just to make sure everything's running smoothly.
And it looks like the teams are just making sure that their lineup rotation is set as well. A couple of changes going on, I can see. One helmet cover was removed from one of the weirdos, so they're just making sure that their next lineup is going to be as tip-top as the rest have been so far. Luscious Locks just lending a couple of words as the team make their way onto the track. And that out of hell will be the next jammer for Weird. All right, rest of the team coming back on, but looks like VDR just doing a bit of a, yep, everyone's just coming on the track just to do a bit of a skate around, just make sure all the blood's pumping.
Yeah, a bit of an unplanned interruption, but we'll work through it. Looks as though there's just a few more discussions going on with the head ref with his team. Just making sure their eyes are all covered. Everyone is okay in the penalty box. And I'm sure we'll be underway not long from now.
It's great to see the teams skating together as well in a pack there, just having a bit of a chat and a natter. That is awesome. That's why we do this stuff. It's that interleague love.
Yeah, leagues from distances as far as pretty much 9,000 kilometres, all converging here.
Is that all?
That's all.
It's a long walk.
It's a hell of an Uber.
Yep, 48 teams have been skating over the weekend, including our Teapot Luck, which is a conglomeration of skaters not on other teams.
Yeah, just basically if you've got a pair of skates and you want to make the trip down and you didn't have a team to come with, you can jump on in.
Yep, and one of them is actually in the penalty area at the moment. Chips is lending a hand as a penalty timer now, so there you go. She was like, yeah, I got caught up for team. I came over to NSO, but I got on Teapot Luck, yay. So she packed her skates along with the rest of her gear.
Good on her.
Nice one. From Gladstone in Queensland. So, yep, long way to come, but great that she could get a skate as well. So, yes, 3 teams from New Zealand also came across, and one of them will be skating today, Auckland Roller Derby.
Yeah, actually, I think it was 4 in total.
4 teams
yeah,
in total.
We had Dunedin from down the South Island, Richter City from Wellington,
yep.
and 2 Auckland teams, the Pirate City Rollers, Broadside Brawlers, and ARDL.
So yeah, I'm hoping for the next Great Southern Slam we could get the South Africans across. We could get the Chileans.
Yeah, Chileans. Yep.
Yep. The Brazilians. Yeah. We could get a few. We could make it truly a Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, but only Southern Hemisphere. Very exclusive.
It's the Southern Slam for a reason.
Exactly.
But we have been blessed with a lot of refs from international destinations.
Absolutely.
I think we've had one ref from France, one from Denmark.
Yeah.
We've had one of our jam refs flown in from Singapore for the occasion. So, yeah, it's been truly a multinational effort on the refereeing front.
Big old melting pot.
Excellent.
Here in Adelaide.
Teams are getting set. So we're going to get the next jam on the way. We've got Danger Mouse and Nat Out of Hell. Actually, no, it is Binder Hallenbach. So Binder Hallenbach will be jamming for Weird. Whistle blows. Here we go. Viciousness in the way of Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse able to get past relatively easy. That's not been the task usually.
Yeah, it looks like the little break has done wonders for her. A little spring in her step. She pounced her way through to lead jammer.
Binder Hallenbach is now through. No, it is Nat Out of Hell. My mistake. So Nat Out of Hell is through.
Meanwhile, Danger Mouse again sneaks her way through into her scoring pass. Picks up 4, calls it off, and that will be that.
Yep. VDR sticking with the churn and burn derby, just getting the points and call. 129, plays 65.
And of course, coming up later this evening, we will have our Division 3, 2 and 1 finals all running back to back on track 1.
That will be something else. Before all of those, of course, we do have our exhibition game with the Victorian Roller Derby A team, the All-Stars, taking on the Division 1 MVPs. That will be something. That's just a half-hour exhibition bout, but that will be special as.
They're going to be a bit of fun. Not having so much fun at the moment as Kitty Killer.
Yep. She's working that outside line, trying to get past, and she almost got through, but Zabeast collected her skates on the way through, so it's a low block against Zabeast.
Thankfully, both skaters up and going again.
Yeah.
And Kitty Killer is out through on her initial pass.
Yep. Locomotive, meanwhile, picks up a natural grand slam. Axe and hips just isolated beautifully by VDR, so another scoring pass for Locomotive, picks up another 4 for a 9-point jam. 138, play 65, 17 minutes and change left to go in the game. Recamini attacking that front pack, set for her by the Weird. Nat Out of Hell. Oh, Slamby.
Stands and delivers, and
whack.
Nat Out of Hell straight down to the floor.
And this is the Slamby, the classic Slamby stuff that we've seen all weekend long. Just absolutely everywhere on the blocking line. Recamini, though, going through her own personal struggles down the front, getting a hand from Slamby, but being met by Scarlet Letter. Finally through. It took nearly a minute, and Nat Out of Hell, like a bat out of hell, seized the opportunity and forced the early call off. Well done, Nat.
Yeah, Recamini picking up lead jab position right before hitting the deck. And as she gathered her senses, saw that the other jammer was off and away around the track and thought better of it. Called it off there before any points scored.
VDR still on 138, 65 for Steel City. And a timeout being signaled. The officials having a word to each other.
Meanwhile, the skaters are taking the chance to have a bit of a joke with one another.
Siggy Starduster just still with a bit of ice on the face there, but she's having a chat with her Weird colleagues. So looks like she's in good spirits, but just maybe with a bit of swelling on the face there. So yeah, hopefully no concussion or anything like that. But she's she's in good spirits. A bit of a laugh, bit of a smile on her face at the moment. So that's good. Good news for the folks back home who are tuning in and wondering how she's going. Roller Doobie up against Kitty Killer.
And Doobie tries to duck on the outside, but not the right path of choice by the looks of it.
Yeah, Kitty Killer straight on through the inside line, picks up lead jammer just like that. Great opportunity for Word to get back in the game. Let's see what she can do. Again, just quickly around the outside. It's a power jam as well.
Meanwhile, Roller Doobie has picked up a cut penalty, so she is in a lead jam position. She gets the signal from her bench to go for it.
And Weird have also separated the pack, so now only just getting back together. So excellent D from Weird. Kitty Killer now getting held up. Good waterfalling forward here by the VDR blockers, able to set that trap and then go forward and set it again.
Z-Beast at the front of a very effective 3-wall there, halting all progress.
And she's through. That was a longer one, but it's still a 5-point pass.
Looks like it was Executioner that came in and did the offensive blocking to finally let the jammer loose.
Oh, nice work, Kitty Killer holding the inside line. Just tipped over though. Grace Nanami goes for the block, unable to connect. And it is another 4 points for Weird. Executioner coming on through up against Roller Doobie.
Gives her a good initial hit to the outside of the track. But
oh my goodness. The Beast let Kitty Killer just know that she was in the house. Flying to the outside. Kitty Killer goes, nah, that's enough of that. But a great jam for Steel City. 14 points. Takes them to 79, but more importantly, holding VDR to 138. So they're just starting to close in on that lead again.
Yep. And with just under 14 minutes left, they will need to keep that momentum going as they want to crunch down on that lead even more.
Steel City fans, send your loving vibes through on YouTube and also through the ether. Danger Mouse collected by Viciousness. Excellent late collection there on the defense. Well done.
Hit her right at the peak of the curve, so she had to go all the way back.
Rathina also getting involved. Finally, Danger Mouse has made it through. Fist pump to the crowd cheering her on.
Axe and Hips takes one last hit from Slamby, and she will have to cycle all the way back.
Slamby's been magnificent.
Yeah.
Really spread out pack at the moment. Now they're getting it together on turn one.
Slamby resets at the front of the pack again. Just makes herself as much as a wall as possible, but Axe and Hips does wriggle free of her.
Sure, Axe and Hips is just like, oh, you again?
Yeah.
So we meet again. Danger Mouse decides that is enough of that. Doesn't get any more points, but calls it off. So a 4-point jam in favor of VDR. 142 plays 79.
Lots of love coming from both teams on the chat here. Cat, Steel, Skate, Dominate. And we've got Izzy, Go Girls, VDR.
Excellent. Thanks for contributing wherever you've been around this beautiful country of ours and around this great blue planet. Locomotive is through and is your lead jammer. Nat Out of Hell is also through, chased down by Jungle Muffin, but unable to be caught. Locomotive hit to the outside. She decides that'll do. She gets herself 2 more points. Round of applause from the benchy for Weird as the team comes off. It's been a long game. And certainly for these teams, it's like their 4th or 5th game, I think, of the tournament. So it's a lot of games in a few days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kitty Killer up against Reckamrini. Both players trying to tiptoe around the outside, unable to go that way. Kitty Killer
avoids Slamby.
But got the cut track. So yeah, that knock caused her to put her skate down, and it was over the line. So it is a power jam in favor of VDR.
Recanrini coming around on her scoring pass. Only 2 blockers to get through.
Executioner heading to the penalty. No. Heading to the penalty bin. Not quite sure. She went off to the team bench area to start with.
You know what? Slamby running offense opens up the gap. And Recanrini goes through absolutely untouched.
Got some jammer on jammer action going on. And Recanini's there going, no, I'm too tired for this rubbish.
I've scored the points.
Yeah.
I'm done.
That's enough. Kitty killer with a bit of a smile on her face. Knew, yeah, this is entertaining and exciting, but fully understand. The beers are chilling. They're in sight. Let's just get to the after party part of the fun.
Just under 10 minutes now. Van Diemen 154. Weird on 79.
Roller Doobie at the front, just trying to get on through the pack. Oh, great work from Viciousness. Used her own blocker there, Scarlet Letter, to administer a block, but it's a... There are plenty of penalties going around. We've got Roller Doobie heading to the bin. We've got Scarlet Letter heading to the bin.
From all directions.
Yeah. So it's a power jam now in favor of Steel City. Now Binda Hellenbach's holding the jammer helmet cover in her hand. Still on her initial pass though. So we'll just see what they're able to do. There is no... Oh yes, there is a pivot. Executioner.
But out of reach before the block comes across. Z-Beast shoves her out of play, draws her back.
It's a Beast just monstering here. And here we go. The start pass has been affected. So Executioner is off and racing. Roller Doobie back on track as well. So we've got a race on our hands. Roller Doobie just a little too hot. And looks like he's going back to the penalty bin. So maybe just a little bit hot around the corner. Executioner, meanwhile, up the front only has the Beast to contend with.
It's a very big only.
I know, because Muffin's come in as well. Jungle Muffin affecting that recycle. So now it's a 4-wall in front of Executioner, just like that. And she has got to go back and try again.
And as time runs out.
Yeah. So at the end of all that, what do we got? 4 for Steel City. 5 for Steel City.
Did pick up a grand slam with the jammer in the box. And we have a timeout being called by Van Diemen.
So that takes Weird to 84. Chasing down VDR on 154. 7 minutes and change left to go in the game. You'd think that maybe it's enough, but you never know in this crazy old game.
While we've got this little timeout going on, we'd just like to thank AJS Lighting, Sound and Events. They're basically taking care of all the audio visual equipment, all the scoreboards, all the lovely equipment that's bringing our voices out to you and live to the crowds here. Done a great job. Sales, hire and installation of audio, visual and lighting systems for all commercial and domestic applications, including corporate functions and conferences.
Danger Mouse on the line for VDR. So it's Kitty Killer back. It is Kitty Killer. Slight wardrobe malfunction, one of an armband falling onto the ground. Yep, just quickly picked up by Grace Anatomy. Oh, Slamby, big fall onto the back, but she's bounced straight back up. Kitty Killer is through. And Danger Mouse on a scoring pass. Gets the points and call.
Danger Mouse happy to call that one off there. Picks up 4 points. Keeps Weird scoreless at that jam.
158 playing 84 as we are counting it down. 6.5 minutes left to go in the game.
Three on three in the blockers to start this jam. Van Diemen deciding to take the front. And looks like that has paid off. Locomotive has skirted around the outside into lead jammer. Meanwhile, Net Out of Hell has been called for the cut. Bit of confusion. She thought that... what do we have there? Z-Beast had gone out of play, but apparently the out of play call was on a different skater. Came back in front of her and unfortunately got the cut.
Oh, well.
Meanwhile, Locomotive has completed her first scoring pass, full 5 points.
Nice step through on the outside by Locomotive. Picks up the 5-point pass. Gets a little encouragement. Has a quick look at the penalty bin. Sees one of her blockers sitting there, so she's going to go off and make sure that she uses up the clock.
Net Out of Hell, meanwhile, has come out of the box, and she will attempt to complete that initial pass.
Locomotive steps around the outside. Nice. Gets the power down, but is now looking at her bench for direction. She's just going to go off and get herself some more points. Beast and Slamby combining up the front. That's a dream team right there. And forces a penalty against Nat Out of Hell. So it is a power jam.
The second time it's Net Out of Hell in the penalty box, leaving Locomotive as the only jammer on the track once again.
Yeah, sometimes that momentum is a good thing and not a good thing. I've seen a number of times this weekend a jammer get a penalty early on, and then they come out of the penalty box straight away, pick up something else.
Yeah.
So the end of that, it was an 18-point jam for VDR. They seem to have this one in the bag now, just scooting away to a 92-point lead. 176 playing 84, and we're 4 minutes left to go in this consolation semi-final.
Yeah. With the Weird jammer still in the penalty box, we'll start as a power start for Van Diemen.
Morgana Le Fay given the jammer helmet cover for VDR. So it's her first jam for this bout. She did quite a bit of jamming yesterday. And feeling the love from the weirdos as she went through, but able to stay on her feet. Nat Out of Hell back out of the box and is now trying to get through that wall of green.
Again, Le Fay stayed low, stood her ground, took the hits, and managed to keep her balance, stayed in. Now, nice sweeping left to right to find her spot. Fortunately dragged down this time.
Yeah, nice lateral movement there by the purple wall as well. Oh, and a bit of a pile up on the outside. That's 4 skaters down.
And I think a little while back there was a cut penalty on Morgana Le Fay, and she's eventually, after the stack, after she's made sure everyone's all got up and off her, she's then seen the ref and realised, I shouldn't be here.
And it was nice to see Beautiful for VDR going over even during the gameplay and just saying to some of those skaters, are you all right? Are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
We've all got an after party to get to in a while.
That's it. The last thing you want to do is get to a late jam and have something bad happen, but it looks like everyone's up on their feet and doing all right here. Star pass has been completed to Kitty Killer for Weird. Morgana Le Fay also back on track, getting some loving from Scarlet Letter. Scarlet Letter trying the jammer trap and not complete that time. And this time Morgana Le Fay has been called for a cut track, so
a double power jam in Weird's favour this time.
Kitty Killer gets a 5-point pass. Goes You Beauty.
Morgana Le Fay did pick up 1 point before being sent off to the box, though.
Alrighty. So we have an official review being called. I might just go over and see what that's about. Okay, so the official review is for the late cut track call against Morgana Le Fay. So they're reviewing that at the moment. The VDR is seeking that to be overturned.
While the refs deliberate on that one, we'd just like to give a shout out to PhysioFit, the Adelaide's and Red Ladies official physio provider. They've got a stall up here in Hall or track 1. They've been fixing up skaters all weekend long, laying them out, beating them up, stretching them out, getting them back up into shape for their next bouts. Looks like we got our official review decision. How did it go?
Well, they've lost it, to put it briefly, but yeah, the query was about who initiated the hit that caused the cut track and who VDR thought initiated hit. Turned out it was another skater, so it was all done legally. So the call will stand.
Alrighty. Thus we have a power start.
Oh, and it is going to be Cranky Crumpet.
Yeah, getting her jamming.
That's good. Oh boy, getting a little airborne from Bootyful, and Bootyful getting called for the forearms, I think, and a cut track also against Axe and Hips, so everything getting a bit light on. A couple of VDR hitting the ground as well. Slamby is the only person in the way, and administers the hit. There you go. Absolute all-star effort from Slamby.
Yeah, that's done enough for Morgana Le Fay to come off the bench and find her way through to lead jammer.
Cranky Crumpet dusts herself off. Going to try again.
Getting the wrong side of Slamby once more.
Morgana Le Fay, though, is your lead jammer and has picked up a natural Grand Slam. Zabeast taking care of Crumpet and falls over as well. And again, Slamby hitting the deck this time, so it's getting late in the game, and there's a number of falls going on.
Yeah, I think Kitty Crumpet finally getting her just desserts on Slamby for once.
Period clock running low. It's probably going to be the last jam. Axe and Hips is through. She has picked up the star pass. So everyone's getting points. VDR fans on their feet.
Slamby wants it called off. And she gets her wish. Morgana Le Fay does call it off there. 3 points picked up by Weird.
Oh, well, there you go. It was the period clock that was running down. Jam, no, yep. No, I'm pretty sure we are at the end of the game. So the computer clock is still going.
Yeah, I think we're just. If you see,
don't worry about that, guys.
it's not time speeding up. That's just our NSO crew of correcting the clock with the referees.
Okay, so the final score looks like being 192 for VDR. Weird with 93 points. Well played to everybody.
Yeah. Again, a game with nothing really on the line, but one last chance to get out there and skate it out here at the Great Southern Slam.
And skated with great spirit and great effort from everybody, so that's the way we love it.
Absolutely.
All right, let's head off. Let's do some more games. Let's see you on the next lot of YouTubes. My name is Pants.
And I've been Link.